my Comic Shot Army. We're here today with Alexia Veldhuisen, the, the artist of 47 Furious Tales. How you doing, Alexa?
Hey, Cody, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. So, what was the inspiration behind 47 Furious Tales?
It was my writer, W.S. Quinton, aka Sam Quinton's idea. Funny enough, he was perusing the internet one day and saw he saw a GIF, I believe, of squirrels with lightsabers. And then the next image was a squirrel in a full-on samurai armor. So the story 47 Furious Tales is based off the legend of the 47 Ronin, which is an actual historical event that happened in Japan in the 18th century. So Sam was very familiar with that story. I'm very familiar with that story too. We're both really into. Um, you have to forgive my cat. She's always needing attention and the most inappropriate moments. Anyway, the story is we're both very into Japanese culture and all that stuff. So anyway, he saw those samurai squirrels and he was like, "I have a great idea. Why don't we do that story, but then with anthropomorphic animals?" So Sam and I had already been working a little bit. He started the company Sonoma Publishing, and he was originally only doing role playing game material. And we met through a mutual friend, because I'm a graduate of the Kubert School, and our mutual friend is also a graduate of the Kubert School. So he got us in contact with each other, and Sam was looking for people to do fantasy illustrations at the time. So that's what we started out as. And he had built this little work group on Facebook. So he was basically throwing all these pitches around. It's like, I have this idea, I have that idea, and I have the idea of 47 Furious Tales. So before anybody could even say anything, I was just like, I call dibs. That's mine. Because I'm a big samurai fan. I love the genre. I love the culture, the philosophy behind it. So we got to work on that, and we managed to get the first book published in June 2019. So that was 2 years ago now. And yeah, so we've been going on a steady road of crowdfunding our book ever since. And issue 2 just came out. And as a way to expand our reach and our market, just trying to get our little book under as many eyeballs as possible, we just put it on Indiegogo as well. And the great thing for the folks on Indiegogo is they don't have to wait on the book being made and all that stuff, because it's already been created and printed. So it's just ready to get shipped at this point.
Oh, wow. I know the first one you did a second printing, it says.
Yep. Yeah, the first printing was very small. That was also our first time doing a comic book on Kickstarter. It was just the first time for a lot of things for both of us. So Sam kind of miscalculated the print run. He made a very small print run, and we sold out. So he said that, well, okay, we'll have to do a second print run. So I was like, all right, well, if it's going to be a second print run, we have to do another cover. So the issue that you received is indeed the issue 1 second print run cover.
All right, and these 3 variants, or they're the second printing also?
So the one that's mostly yellow, that one's mine. And the other 2 are by one is by my friend Paul Walcott. Him and I went to school together. And then the one on your left is by Fernando Ruiz, who's a Cuba school instructor and one of the old artists for Archie. He used to work for Archie for a long time. So we managed to get them on board to do variant covers for us, and we're very happy with it. Like, everybody loved those covers, so we're very, very grateful for that.
Oh, wow. Um, what? How do you? I'm gonna show them your art. Do you use pen and paper, or do you do digital art?
So I do a bit of a hybrid workflow where I draw everything on my computer on the Cintiq, and I print that out on very fancy watercolor paper, like very high quality, thick, toothy watercolor paper. And then I basically just go at it traditionally with ink and ink wash and brushes, because I was trying to kind of emulate that old Japanese art style of, those thick brushes and the calligraphy and those long scrolls of landscapes and such. That's kind
Hmm.
of the vibe that I was trying to recreate. So, yeah, so I went traditional, and then I scanned that back in, and then I color it in Photoshop.
Wow. Here, I'm gonna show a random page real quick, and it's on Indiegogo right now.
It's on
There you
Indiegogo
go.
right now.
And as soon as they back it, do they get the book sent to them immediately, or?
Pretty quickly, yes. I literally just got word from Sam about that the funds clear very quickly, and that he tries to get them out as soon as he can. So he sent out 2 rewards today, I believe, actually. So yeah, so people can get the books very, very quickly.
All right, nice. And this is y'all's first comic book ever, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Wow,
graduated the
nice.
Huber School in 2014, and I didn't actually work with Sam until 2017. So, but yeah, go figure. It's not until like 2019 that we got the first book out. And this is going to be a 12 issue limited series. So, this is issue 2. And right now we're just getting everything together to start making issue 3, so that hopefully we can get the Kickstarter, the crowdfunding launched for that in hopefully September, October.
All right,
So, the idea is to get issue 3 out before the end of the year.
all right, nice. Could you give us a brief description on the story so far?
Yeah, so the story is set in 18th century feudal Japan, and it is about a feudal lord whose name is Asano Naganori, and he has command of these 47 samurai. He is summoned by Edo court to go to the courts over there for some kind of ceremony, and basically he's leaving his estate with a small entourage while the rest of the samurai stay there to basically hold the fort, because there's a local problem going on at the same time, a gang of monkeys that formed the Grey Wolf Gang. I know it's a little bit of a juxtaposition having monkeys and a gray wolf, but I thought it was a funny idea.
I like
So,
it.
you're right. So, in issue 1, we kind of introduce all of the characters and some of the things that are going on. In issue 2, we're focusing more on the antagonists, and we're kind of showing their machinations and seeing exactly all the things that they're scheming to thwart our heroes. So, Lord Asano and all of the samurai that stay behind. Um, Issue 3 is going to be really exciting, actually, because that's going to be the point where our samurai squirrels are going to face off against the Grey Wolf gang. So there's going to be a lot of fights and a lot of excitement going on in issue 3. And from there on out, it's just going to pivot into high drama. Just to give you a very quick summary of the actual story for those who aren't familiar with it. So, like I said, Lord Asano Naganori, he has these 47 samurai under his command. He has to go to Edo and is basically put into a position by a corrupted official from the courts, Kira, to basically, Kira pushes him to the point where he pulls a knife on Kira in court. And that is just absolutely not done in 18th century feudal Japan. It's more or less a crime. So Asano Naganori is unfortunately ordered to commit seppuku, um, suicide. And his samurai then, as a result, become the 47 Ronin, because now they are masterless samurai. But because of the way that the whole thing happened was very dishonorable, and they didn't agree with any of it. So they actually went against the shogun's wishes to commit seppuku along with their lord. They just kind of exiled themselves, became, like I said, Ronin, and they became basically the bottom of society in that moment. But they did that in order to extract revenge and avenge their fallen lord. So that's what the story is about in a nutshell. And it is commemorated in Japanese history. There is a festival that happens every year. So the card that you just showed, the one about the graves, that's an actual photograph from the actual gravesite of the actual 47 Ronin. I was able to, thank God for Google, right? I was able to find a great photograph of somebody who took a picture of the graves of these fallen heroes, and I was able to give them my own interpretation. So that's actually page 2 and 3 of issue 1.
Oh wow! Right. That's awesome. And Michelle.
Yeah. So we offer the mini print as an extra reward. I think you get that standard in the Indiegogo. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they're like little 5x5 or 8x5 mini prints. They're nice, sturdy cardstock. They're with a satin finishing touch, just like the cover. For those, obviously, you folks can't feel it, but yeah, that's the Akko Castle. So Akko Castle actually still stands today. That is also from an actual photograph of the actual castle. Again, thank God for Google. The interior of the castle is, however, in ruins. The only thing that really still stands is the exterior. So we're able to get great reference material for that. The rest I kind of have to more or less make up and look at references of other historical Japanese castles.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and the covers, like you were saying, they feel like suede.
Right,
That's right.
right. So we got one of basically one of the philosophies of Sonopa is that we are trying to bring out as high a quality product as we can. So we looked at all these different cardstocks, we looked at all these different papers and printers, and when we found our printer, when they offered that satin finishing touch, we were like, yeah, that's perfect. The thing about those books is that you can literally put them on a table and they will just stand on their own, like they were
Mhm.
hardbound, but they're not. So it's pretty neat. People really enjoy because it gives you like an extra experience to having the printed book. It's the moment that you put it in somebody's hands and they feel it. It's like, oh wow, that's new, that's different. It's hopefully exciting enough for people to buy it. So
So before the whole current world events, was you going to Comic Cons?
oh yeah, yeah. Well, mostly to network with artists. I did do local shows in Jersey. I'm out here in Dover, New Jersey, actually very close to the school. And I've done Garden State Comic Fest. I've done some other things. I've done very local stuff with my local comic shop. I'm really into supporting local comic shops and the comic community. I used to work in a comic book shop myself when I was a kid for a long time, so I know. I believe that the comic shops are, they're kind of the heart of comic book community, and I think we should do whatever we can to help them get through these tough times because it's been very challenging for the entire industry as a whole, obviously, but for local comic shops in particular, they got their hardest hit, suddenly not getting any more new material out and stuff like that. And to kind of go along with that idea of, supporting your LCSs, Sonopa actually offers the books directly to retailers at a retailer price. So the books themselves really only cost $5. That's the cover price for them. And we offer them to the retailers for, again, a reduced price so that they don't have to bend over backwards because, I know that a lot of LCSs they have to take risks with putting up indie titles on their racks. Obviously, Batman is going to sell better than some random title nobody's ever heard of. So, we understand the risks that they're taking by giving us a little bit of shelf space. So we try to basically help them out or give them a helping hand in the way that they can help us too. And, just try to give LCSs a more varied offers of books. So that's not just yay old big two superheroes and a couple of other indie titles, just like other stuff that might have flown under people's radars because it's on Kickstarter or what have you.
I'm really excited that you brought something new to the table. By the way, guys, we're gonna read these and review them soon. But I'm glad you got something fresh here, not just the same, like you said, just the same old superheroes or a superhero story.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but I'm sure that people would like to see some new stuff. I like to think that folks who like TMNT and Usagi Yojimbo, and maybe folks who are fans of Black Sad, I know that was a big inspiration for me. Will like this book, and obviously people who like samurai stories, because that's really what it's about. Sam and I are both just really big into samurai stuff, so we're very passionate about the story and about the book.
After you're finished with all 12, are you going to put them together in one big graphic
Yep,
novel or paperback?
absolutely.
All
That's
right.
definitely part of the plan.
All right. And the Comic Cons that you go to, do you only go to the ones in New Jersey? Do you travel outside of New Jersey?
I can't because I don't have a car, so I'm very limited, unfortunately. Sam, however, he can. So he actually drove because we're not even in the same state. We're like, he's out in Kentucky and I'm out in Jersey. We've only ever met in person twice in the 3 years that we've worked together. So Sam was
Wow.
actually in New Jersey, I think last month now. It's been about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, to bring all the books so we can sign them together for the fulfillment. So he's going to try to make it out to Garden State Comic Fest 2021. So that will be in June again. And whatever local shows that he can reach from his network. So maybe he can make show in Lexington, maybe Louisville, but it just kind of depends on multiple factors. But yeah, for right now, we're just going to stay local. I mean, I would love to be able to eventually afford a table at New York Comic Con or something like that, because I've been going to New York Comic Con for many years. Like I said, I would be talking to artists. But there's a high price tag on those things. So.
Oh, I could imagine. Are y'all taking comic submissions to your publishing house?
Oh, right now we're gonna keep it within Sonoma, but we're absolutely not against the idea. I've already kind of asked Sam's, like, maybe we could throw it up to Image Comics, for example, if only just to be able to cast our net wider and get it under more eyeballs, because having our Kickstarter backers or Indiegogo backers is great and it's a fantastic community and we're super grateful for it, but it's still kind of, small.
Yeah.
So if we could get it on a national distributing level, that would be amazing, of course.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's see. Where can people find your stuff if they happen to miss the Indiegogo? You have a website?
Um, right now, you can directly contact Sam about getting one of the copies if you would like one and you haven't missed the crowdfunding campaigns. I'll have to give you the link so you can link that. Usually, we have a direct PayPal link that you can just pay quickly, and then he'll just send it out ASAP.
All right.
Um, so that's right now. We're still in the middle of building a website and a web shop and all that stuff. We're still, yeah, it's all still a work in progress right now.
All right. I guess is there anything you want to say to everybody before we go?
No, just say, again, if you like samurai stuff, if you like anthropomorphic animals and all those kinds of cool things. So again, TNMT, Usagi Yojimbo, all that good stuff, then I definitely think that you would love this book because we're trying to bring some furious action into the comic market. So yes, definitely check out 47 Furious Tales issue 1 and 2 on Indiegogo.
All right. Thank you for coming on and taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.